Welcome back. Welcome back from New York City. Here I am. This is the Counseling Corner, and a very special welcome to our Soul Sync segment. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I'm here. Here on Soul Sync, we believe that true connection and true understanding in a relationship often comes from shedding light on the things we tend to keep in the shadows. We dive deep into the often complex dynamics that arise when mental health challenges and specific diagnoses become part of our shared lives with a partner. So, because this is something near to my heart, let's be honest. While love can conquer much, navigating conditions like anxiety, depression, and trauma, or personally disorders within the intimacy of a relationship, listen, it requires more than just feelings. It requires clarity and compassion and concrete tools. So, our mission, my mission, our Soul Sync mission is to bring definition, understanding, and practical insight to these sensitive topics, helping us all of us, to learn how to truly merge our souls together, not just to survive, but to truly thrive, to build relationships that are resilient, complete, and profoundly healthy. Welcome to Soul Sync. Welcome. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that I'm here. I hope tonight we have a great time in understanding some things. This is a continuation from our other topic that is tied to this, and it is definitely about trauma compatibility. But tonight we're talking about a part two, which we call the darker side. So I'm glad that you're here. Call a friend. I hope you hit that like button when you came in. And I pray all is well with all of you. So, how are you doing? How are you doing out there? That's what I want to know. How are you doing? I'm doing good. It's a great day here on the East Coast. It's a great day here on the East Coast, and I hope that you are well. You're doing fine. And I see that a couple of people are already in the chat, and I see some of you are up in the expensive seats. Maybe you bought an expensive ticket. Maybe you bought a box seat. Maybe you bought a box seat, or maybe you're just in the orchestra. I don't know. Maybe you just like to just be by yourself and you're up in the bleachers. Up in the bleachers. Well, listen, wherever you are, just go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet. Go ahead and do that for us. We are pressing our way on this particular channel to get 500 subs. We're pressing and we're opening doors and knocking down doors, but you're here. So I hope that you care enough to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button so you can let the YouTube folks know that you're loving and liking the show. I want to say thank God and thank you for Miss Nia is here. She's the best moderator, my sister, my friend, the best moderator in these YouTube streets, my day one since I've been traveling in these YouTube streets. She is my day one. And I want to say good evening to all of you. I don't know if you were here the last time we talked about trauma compatibility. It is something that, touches my heart. Well, many things touch my heart relating to people. So, if you don't know and it's your first time here, I'll be with you. I'm never leaving you. If I'm looking down, I'm looking at a note, right? Or if I'm looking sideways, I'm looking at another note because I really, really pull some notes out for this conversation tonight. I did some studying. I got more information on top of the information that I already had. But I'm praying that this will bless you or someone that you know might need this. I think this is universal. I think it's for all of us because we all have relationships, have been in a relationship, seeking a relationship, whether it's with a intimate relationship, a family member. But tonight we're talking about intimacy. We're talking about the intimate relationships between man and woman. And so I wanted to share with you part 2 of this because I actually can go on and on and on with this topic because it's so loaded. It's so loaded. And, you know, we believe that true connection, right? True understanding in a relationship often comes from shedding light. We're here to shed light on particular things and particular topics, right? And we know that there's always tending to be some shadows lurking, but we want to be in the forefront of everything that we're dealing with. We want to be a better me, a better us. And so by doing that, we listen, we come together, we unify, we care enough to share. And I hope that some of you will take some jewels from what I'm going to share tonight. If you missed the first segment of Trauma Compatibility, I ask that you go back on the channel and check it out because we're going to dive deep into an often complex dynamics tonight that arise from mental health and mental health challenges and specific, diagnosis. This is what we're doing with Soul Sync. And the reason why I decided to do Soul Sync, for those of you that don't know me, let me just introduce myself to you. My name is Sheila Ingram, and I am a licensed professional counselor, as well as some other things. But tonight, the counseling hat is on. And I know that I was wired to do this. I was wired by God to speak to people, to help people to get through hard times. And if you're in a good space and you want to go higher, God has called me into the lives of many, many people. And so I count it a privilege to speak to you tonight and to have talking to hundreds and hundreds of people that God has placed in my path so that I could help them. And, I was sitting and I was thinking, I said, well, I know God because God gives us all gifts. We all have gifts. And talking to people and counseling people, I was counseling people before I was even a counselor because that was a niche. That was something that God had placed in my heart. But one of the things that I know that really pushed me through the doors of counseling and into the doors of other people's lives is the fact of what I've experienced in my own life. I've come through a lot of trauma. I've come through so many different challenges in my life. And all it can do is just help me help you because I walk it out in shoe leather. I have walked it out. I have done the work to the point that now I am a counselor, professional counselor, speaking to people everywhere, helping them through seasons. Sometimes people believe that when you go to a counselor, there's nothing wrong with me. It's only sometimes that you just need a little bit of help in your life. And a little bit of help means that you may need 5 sessions, 2 sessions, 1 session. You may need long-term counseling, but never close the door on counseling or people who have walked where you are trying to walk or have walked. And so I really believe that not just because God has wired me to love people, I mean, with my whole heart, with my whole being, I really believe he knew what I would walk through. He knew how he had designed me. He knew that I would have a hard life in so many areas since the time I was a teenager. And when God knows, he prepares you, and layer by layer, he'll open up the window a little bit wider for you to see where you need to be in your life. That's why when people say they don't know their purpose or their destiny, you got to find what your passion is. You have to tap into what you love to do and what you're good at doing, right? And so I speak to all of you, letting you know the reason why I'm here is because I love you. I don't have to know you, but I know as long as you're breathing, as long as you're living, as long as you're waking up every day, it's not easy. And sometimes we find ourselves in broken places, and it's a hard time. Sometimes we have no one to share and talk to us. So I'm excited tonight to continue with the trauma compatibility, but this is part 2. Again, if you wasn't here when we did part 1, you can go back to the channel because we're diving deep into the darker side of this. And next, I have some wonderful, wonderful topics I want to bring to you on Soul Sync, simply because I'm trying to sync souls together. And my point is that there are many relationships and so many homes, and one or both of the people in the relationship have gone through a series of traumas or trauma. And sometimes when that happens, it's just an explosion waiting to happen when both people, both persons are trying to navigate through a rough patch, and the partner you with can't understand the signals, they can't understand the triggers. And then what happens? You may love each other, but it may become very toxic. Toxic relationships sometimes don't have to be toxic. It's just that people don't want to stop, pause, and reflect on the internal them to see what it is that is broken me, what it is in me that I need to just tweak or fix. So I just wanted to share with you about this particular thing. I know Monday nights, I always share with you that Beyond the Mic with Dr. Elaine talks about relationships. And then you have Thursday night with Dawn B right on the same broadcast, this platform, who does Thursday night with Dawn B. And both of these young ladies are talking about relationships. Monday night, there was a 10-person panel on, and it was powerful. It was so powerful with different men and women from different walks of life. This is what they do. So I'm kind of in the middle of the bookend, and I'm coming now to kind of soul sync people once they get these tips and get this information. I am the counselor. And so I'm coming now to talk to you about syncing your soul and wanting to be better and to be a better you. We all are looking to be a better us. So I want to say thank you again for being here. And I want you to know that our mission here at Soul Sync is to bring definition, understanding, and practical insight to these sensitive topics that you'll find us doing here. So that's what I want to say. So now I want to just get into part two of this. So I have my notes here. Like I said, I really was pulling old notes out. I was researching for more notes. I was researching, trying to find more to talk about with you, to leave you with, and trying to do it within maybe an hour or less. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And if we have to come back for a 3-part, we will. But I think we might be able to tie it up with this tonight with our conversation on trauma compatibility. And so last week we talked about couples that deal with different traumas and people that come in relationships with different traumas, and that they don't have the healing nor have they searched for healing, and it becomes very explosive in the home. And what happens with that is that many people, partners, don't know how to cope with a person that they truly love, that have some type of issue going on in them emotionally, mentally. And what happens with that is the relationship more than likely will not last. But when you have knowledge, when you understand why you do what you do, then you give yourself the opportunity to fix it, to understand it more, and to grow. And so this is what Soul Sync is about. It's about syncing souls together in harmony and in a healthy way. And so we talked about so much last week. I don't really want to go deep into that. We talked about recognizing trauma. We talked about navigating triggers a little bit. We touched on a little bit of everything. But tonight, we're segueing right into something powerful to talk about, and it's the part 2 of trauma compatibility on Soul Sync. And I'm telling you, this one here is kind of heavy because we're opening it up a little wider for us to understand. And so once again, I thank you. If you're just tuning in, I hope you hit that like button, that thumbs up button, so that we can actually get into this. So this is designed to recap, which I did a little bit of, but I don't want to spend all the time that we have talking about the first one, the session that we did. I want to get into this one because I don't want to be here too long. I don't want to be here. And I wish some of you that are in the bleachers would come down in the chat so that, we can talk back to each other. But wherever you're comfortable, it's fine with me. So again, welcome back. Welcome back for Soul Sync number 2. We're diving into. So let's get into this. I want to first talk about the trauma compatibility. I know that we've talked about that in the first broadcast. We began, we peeled back layers of how past experiences, particularly trauma, shows up in our relationships. And we talked about how often unconsciously, the word is unconsciously, we seek out partners who emotionally, listen to me, landscape feels familiar like ours. Even if that familiarity stems from a place and past pain, we tend to connect with people who have gone through the same experience. And a lot of times that gives, I know for women, it gives them the green light. Oh, wow, he's gone through what I've gone through. And all of a sudden they're connected because they have that one thing in common, and they make the mistake. That's not enough to start a relationship. It's just not enough. Just because I have something familiar with you doesn't mean that we're supposed to be together. So I wanted to dive deeper this week and to start to reiterate a crucial point from our last discussion and get clarification on the trauma compatibility. Sorry, it's not just about finding someone with identical wounds. It's not about finding someone with identical wounds. That's a good one. We always, oh, you went through what I went through. Oh, I had the same problem. Oh, you grew up like that. Oh, I grew up like that too. Now, you begin now you're merging together thinking, oh, it's great. And so now you're saying you have the same trauma experience that someone else has, and you think that's enough for you to merge, when it's not, because it'll be explosive if you come together and neither one of you can handle each other's trauma. And so it's very important for us to understand each other and understand when we get in relationships, the past and some of the things that we've gone through. And I know it's not easy to share about your past, and you shouldn't share it right away. You should trust and build some type of relationship and understanding before you just expose yourself totally. But nevertheless, you should be able to get to a point, if you're with someone that you're dealing with and you have a long-term goal with that person. All right. So we talked about how often unconsciously we seek out partners. We unconsciously seek out. So let's dive deeper into the trauma compatibility and talking about this segment. So as I pull up some of the notes that I've wrote, and some of the notes that I dug for, because I was like so open with it, I dug for some more understanding for myself, right? Because I don't know too many people that have not gone through some type of trauma experience as a young child, as a teenager, as an adult, as a senior. Trauma knocks on everyone's door. But the problem with us, we don't get healed. We hide it. We feel embarrassed about it. And so we never are the fullest person that we can be, because trauma will creep at you and poke at you. And so let's talk about this tonight again. Soul sync trauma compatibility. We're unpacking tonight the shadows, right? From the healing connections to trauma bonds. So I want to share with you right now about the interplay of attachment styles and trauma. This is huge. This is so huge right here, the darker side. I want to elaborate a little bit with you and for all of us that are here about the interplay of attachment styles and trauma. Okay, the connection of the darker side, the connecting of the darker side. So we can dive into this and realize that one of the most deepest foundations, the concepts as we grasp the attachment styles. There are attachment styles that we unknowingly behave with, accept, and walk through. And so when you think back, if you can think back when you were young, you can think back in your earliest relationships, often your primary caregivers, your mother, your father, your auntie, whoever it was that took care of you and spoke in your life, the way those relationships unfolded, right? Particularly if they involved any form of trauma. A lot of us have come from parents who went through trauma. A lot of us don't have the luxury to not know what trauma looked like or felt like, even growing up. And if you did, well, glory, hallelujah, God bless you. All right. So when we talk about the grasp of attachment styles, think back to your earliest. I want you to really reflect and think back on your relationships when you were young and who took care of you and whatever you went through, particularly if they involved any type of trauma, be it neglect, whether it's abandonment, whether it's inconsistency, whether it's abuse. It shaped you. It shapes your attachment style, my God. So let's go through a couple of points And if you identify, just keep your feet open. I'm asking you to be open. Let's go into the secure attachment. That's the first one I want to tell you about. The secure attachment. Ideally, if you felt consistently safe, loved, and had your needs met, you likely, more than likely, develop a secure attachment. In relationships, this means you're generally comfortable with intimacy and independence. I want you to stay with me. I want you to lean into this with me. I want you to take this serious tonight, what we're talking about. I'm not here just to talk and just to act like I know it all, but I'm here to help. I'm here to bring a light to you. I'm here to give you some understanding of things that you may have been searching for within yourself. So stay with me and let's do this together, okay? Let's talk about point number 2, anxious attachment. If love felt inconsistent or unpredictable, you might be anxiously attached, often craving what? Closeness, but fearing abandonment. You see that double? Leading to what? Clinginess, or heightened worry in relationships. All right, I heard you in the back. You said, say it again. I got you. Anxious attachment. If love felt inconsistent, wait a minute, hold on. That was secure attachment, right? Consistently safe. You're generally comfortable. All right. So the anxious attachment, if love felt inconsistent or unpredictable, you might be anxiously attached, often craving closeness, but fearing abandonment, leading to clinginess or heightened worry in relationships. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to the next one, which is avoidant attachment. If your needs were often dismissed or you were encouraged to be overly independent, you might be avoidantly attached, tending to pull away from intimacy and fearing engulfment. I tell you, we all have found ourselves in some of these spaces. How about disorganized attachment? This is often the most directly linked to trauma, especially early, inconsistent trauma. It's a mix of both, anxious and avoidant, where you simultaneously crave closeness and fear it. You crave it and you fear it, leading to unpredictable behavior in relationships. There is always an answer why we behave a particular way in a relationship. I tell you, this is soul sync. Soul sync. We're going to sync some souls. We're going to make sure you don't run away from a loved one that you just don't understand because they went through something traumatic. We want to help you understand that loved one. We want to give you some tools and want you to listen to how you can save a beautiful relationship and not run from a relationship because you don't understand fully your partner's past. Now, here's where it connects to the darker side, what we're talking about tonight. The darker side and trauma compatibility. Listen to me, when two individuals with trauma shaped attachment styles, right? We just went over the attachment styles, come together, they can unconsciously trigger each other's deepest wounds. Stop, pause, reflect. I said, you can trigger your partner to their deepest wounds when you both have these, attachment styles that come together. Now, let me give you an example. An anxiously attached person fearing abandonment might repeatedly pursue an avoidantly attached person who fears engulfment. Think of a tragic dance as you're dancing, but this dance constantly re-traumatizes both. This dynamic can unfortunately predispose individuals to trauma bonding. Where the push and pull syndrome happens. The push and pull syndrome with your partner, the intense highs and the intense lows become twisted form of connection. You think this is, oh, we're together. I understand. But this thing becomes twisted because of the attachment bonds that we're talking about. The different type, you got to know where you land. You got to know where you are in your own being. Oh my God. So this is something that re-traumatizes both people. This dynamic can unfortunately, listen to me, become twisted, a twisted form of connection that feels familiar. Why does it feel familiar? Because you both share the same trauma. You both have gone through similar situations. Oh my God. When we talk about these attachment styles, you both have something in common, but it's not healthy. But you latch on to it and you think it brings you closer when in fact, you both are two sick little puppies that need some help. So the only way to shift and get better is for one or both to recognize these things and want to do better and get help in understanding what trauma has done to them. My God. So when it becomes a twisted form of connection, it feels familiar. Even if it's deeply unhealthy, it still feels familiar. It still is familiar because it mirrors what? An early chaotic attachment pattern. Remember, we said whatever was happening when you were younger, however you were shaped when you were younger, whatever environment you were in when you were younger, and maybe the environment you were in, there was some trauma, some traumatic experiences. Maybe the whole darn family had gone through trauma. Maybe everybody has some trauma going on when you're a part of it. It's some kind of way you're going to be affected by the behavior because we are product of what we live through. We are product of where we are raised. Amen. Amen. Navigating triggers and reenacting is called the trap of trauma bonding. The trap of trauma bonding. So let's talk a little bit about triggers. Let's just touch it a little bit. So if you've experienced trauma, you know that certain sights, certain sounds, certain smells, certain words, or even emotional states can instantly transport you right back to the past painful experience. It sure can. Yes, it can. That thing, that moment in time that you experience, maybe over and over, maybe one time, there's things that trigger you, a smell, a sound, look. Triggers, that's the word. So triggers are essentially reminders. They're just reminders. And sometimes they're subliminal. They're reminders, sometimes glaring you right in your face that activate what? Your nervous system. The trigger activates your nervous system. And on the screen, you see that this is for informational purposes only. I didn't put my disclaimer up, but I need to say that this is, it could be triggering to you, some of the things that I'm saying. So be mindful that we're talking about deep things right now. And I just want to let you know it's for information, although I have, the credentials to speak about it still. I just want you to just grab the jewels. Okay. All right. So back to triggers. Now, they activate the nervous system. It's either fight or flight. I'm sure you heard about that. Or freeze or fawn. It's some kind of response that you give, even when there's no actual danger in the present moment. Listen, let me give you a quick one that I can share with you. Some years ago, I was crossing the street and I had the right of way. The light was green, but a car decided to run the light and he ran right into me. And my life has changed since that day, that time, that cold winter day that I found myself on the ground. And years have passed. And after 1, 2, 3, 4 years, my friends would walk with me and automatically they would walk on the inside of me because I was triggered by the cars coming. Even if the car wasn't near me, my mind, my trigger, my emotion, I would just remember automatically my whole body recognized the moment that car hit me. And so There are times and places and spaces that you might wind up in and all of a sudden be triggered unknowingly, right? And so that is something I gave you that example because even today I'm not as nervous about it as I used to be, but I'm still aware. I'm still looking. I'm still waiting. I'm trying to know because that experience changed my whole entire life. It changed my walking. It changed my beautiful leg. Now this scar is on my leg, but I love scars too. We're going to talk about scars one day. But I'm telling you, there are things that will trigger you. You might just be minding your business, doing something and something, a voice, a sound, and it'll trigger you. These are things that happen to us in real time. So I want you to understand about the triggers. These triggers become incredibly complex. When we're talking about a partner's tone of voice, might remind you of an abuser. You might be in a total different relationship after leaving a relationship that wasn't too healthy, and the person you're with may move a certain way or say something. And that moment, in that space, and in that time, you will feel like, you're in that same space. Thank you, Anae. Thank you. So I want you to understand that these triggers become complex. And when these triggers go unacknowledged or unaddressed, we often fall into what? Reenactments. It's called reenactments. This is where unconsciously, again, we might seek out to create situations that mirror our past traumas. Now, we're talking about relationship. I done segue back to the couple, the relationship. For example, someone who experienced chronic criticism might unconsciously provoke criticism from a partner because that's familiar, painful, dynamic, or they might constantly test their partner's loyalty by reenacting fears of abandonment. I'm telling you, so many people deal with this. I told you we were going to go deep. There's the trigger warning on the screen. Thank you, Anae. I appreciate you. I'll put it up again later. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's move. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. So we're talking about the reenactments, the unconscious, where people actually seek out to start an issue and a problem because it's familiar. That leads us directly to a profound danger, a serious danger, which is called trauma bonding. Trauma bonding occurs in relationships characterized by a cycle of abuse, devaluing, and intermittent positive reinforcement, like love bonding. The victim becomes bonded to the abuser. Now, I know you probably know somebody who has gone through this. I've counseled people with DV, and this is huge and it's dangerous. This is one that is not easy to break through. This is one where a person could be in counseling for years and years and years and still don't get a breakthrough because of the familiarity that we're talking about today. But there is a breakthrough. But it's so difficult for people to break through certain things that they've gone through in life. And I just think that many times we don't pay enough attention to ourselves. We don't pay enough attention to what happened to us and what we experience. I think sometimes we just move right on to the next person. We just get rid of one relationship. But in the meantime, you're walking away with some of these things here. You're walking away with some of these things that I'm telling you about. And then you get in the next relationship and the person is not sure of the trauma that you've gone through, and they have no way of accepting it or understanding it, nor helping you with it. So it's so important in time when you're in a relationship, in time, because it has to be a feeling of trust that you express these things so that you can have a fruitful relationship. So as this leads directly to the trauma bonding, it's very, very important to break these cycles of abuse, and it like I said, it's like love bombing. But the victim, listen, the victim becomes bonded to the abuser, not despise the abuse. But because of the cycle, it's a cycle. The intense emotional highs, right? The emotional highs when the abuser is good. Oh, we're good today, are so powerful after a period of knockdown pain. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. This goes both ways, a woman and a man. Listen, I'm sorry. You just made me lose my temper. And, you always doing that. And, come here. I love you. I love you. I love you. Come on, let's make up. Okay, make up. But you just had a serious offense like 10 minutes ago. And you just skip over what? It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And you need help to be able to break the cycle, because you don't even see the abuser for what the abuser is. And this is for women and for men. This is not just a female thing. It is not. The victim becomes bonded to the abuser. The intense emotional highs when the abuser is good, or so powerful after periods of pain that they create a chemical dependency. Now they're dependent. They're dependent on each other. They're dependent, right? It's sick. It's a sick relationship. But because of these cycles and because of these dynamics of trauma and trauma bonding, it becomes like a real stronghold with the person. It becomes a real stronghold. And so I want you to understand tonight, I want you to reflect. You may even know someone that is dealing with these things that I am talking about. It may be you. It may not be everything, but you may be able to pick one or two things out that I am talking about. And you be like, oh, that's me. That's me. Identify it so you can crucify it. Go ahead. Identify it so you can crucify it. Please hit the like button. So I want you to understand that these things become and go unaddressed. It exploits the victim's trigger and vulnerabilities, to maintain control, making it incredibly difficult for the victim to leave. So these are things, but if you understand the cycle, if you understand the trauma, if you understand the definition of the particular thing that is breaking up and breaking down a relationship, you can be saved. It can be annihilated. You can get rid of it. You can be free. You can walk in victory. But the more you avoid opening up that, the more you avoid putting more sand on top of, the more you just keep putting sand on top of it and burying it, it's going to follow you. It's going to show up. It's definitely going to show up. Let's go to the crucial importance of healthy boundaries and the erosion of the darker side. Now, I wanted to talk about the pros and cons, but let me tell you about the crucial importance of healthy boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where you end and another person begins. They are essential for a healthy sense of self, emotional well-being, and respect within any relationship. I don't know why people tend to think a relationship that has no respect, no boundaries, the emotional well-being is terrible. Listen, this is a time where you have to kind of do a self-check on you. You have to just go ahead and sit in it and figure it out. All right. So these boundaries, healthy boundaries, are about communicating your limits. When you're in a relationship, there has to be a healthy conversation about limits. Boundaries. Listen, communicating your limits, your needs, and your expectation is very important in a relationship. I said communicating your limits, your needs, and your expectation with an X, expectations, is very crucial to any relationship. What you will and won't accept is crucial to let that other person know. Don't waste your time. Let it be known. That person may not be a fit for you. Just let it be known. They protect your energy, your time, and your values, in your emotional and physical space. For someone with a history of trauma, establishing healthy boundaries is more even crucial, as trauma often involves boundaries being violated. Because traumatic experiences and traumatic relationships, listen, and the boundaries are broken, it's a problem. It's a problem. It's definitely a problem. I hope that you're getting some of this. So listen, this is what I'm telling you about the crucial importance of healthy boundaries. So, however, I heard you. The darker side of trauma compatibility, particularly within trauma bonds, boundaries are systematically eroded. Did you hear me? There's an erosion. An abuser, whether consciously or unconsciously, will chip away at their partner's boundaries. So let me tell you a couple of ways it can look like. It can look like emotional manipulation, guilt tripping, gaslighting, making you feel responsible for their feelings. Constant contact surveillance, you're under surveillance, demanding to know where you are, who you're with, checking your phone. How about disregarding your no? Come on, when people disregard your no, that's a big problem. Pushing past your stated limits for intimacy, time, or emotional capacity. What about the isolation piece? Gradually separating you from friends, family, and support system. That is the erosion of boundaries. It's hallmark of an unhealthy relationship. Controlling relationships. It leaves the individual feeling lost and disoriented and dependent on the person who is simultaneously hurting and intimate loving, like in between. It's a love thing, but it's an in-between love thing. Most times of what we're talking about right now, this trauma bonding and all we're talking about right now are signals and triggers and things to understand that you have to take care of you in a relationship, whether it's a male or a female I'm talking to today. This is so crucial and important to your mental health and to you and your complete wholeness and who you're called to be and to walk and do things and be the best you that you can be. So without clear boundaries, there is no true space for individual healing or healthy growth. It just can't happen. The relational growth can't happen without true boundary. Remember what I told you about boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where you end and another person begins. Now, the impact of unaddressed trauma on intimacy, meaning sex, and weaponizing and vulnerability in that intimacy. This is a big one. This is a huge one because many people find themselves in divorce court and many people separate. People that truly love each other, relationship is broken down over time because they will do nothing about dealing with the trauma that happened to them before they got with the person, right? And so they brought that total baggage into a new relationship, and the person you're in with had some luggage they brought in traumatized from somewhere. And so you got two people with traumatic experiences in one house, and then you start trauma bonding, which is totally unhealthy, but you look at it like it's healthy. I mean, this goes a long, long way. So the impact and the unaddressed trauma and intimacy, sex, and the weaponizing of vulnerability. Listen, intimacy, both emotional and physical, is meant to be a space of profound connection. It should be a beautiful thing. Profound connection, trust, and vulnerability. Yet for couples where one or both partners carry, listen to me, unaddressed trauma, this space can become incredibly challenging. Unaddressed trauma. I need you to say it. Unaddressed trauma can manifest in intimacy in many ways. You want to know how? Let's go through a couple of them. Difficulty with trust. Fear of being hurt again can prevent emotional openness. Have you ever been in a relationship and you've gone through so many things in the relationship and you thought that was the one, that was it? The relationship, this is my last one. I've been in it for years. I know this. And then down the road, something happened. There's a breach, right? What happens then? Your trust is broken. You're hurt. And then you jump right into something else or the next relationship, right? So then you have difficulty with trust. And this person that you're getting with is trying to be all that they can be to you. But because you come with this traumatic experience, you have a trust issue. And and I'm not making light of this. This is serious. I'm not making light. So fear of being hurt again can prevent emotional openness, right? We're talking about unpacking this and the impact of unaddressed trauma. Let's look at the changes with physical touch. Oh, here's a big one. Touch might be associated with past violations or discomfort. This happens a lot with women and men who were violated at a young age, and they grow up, they're a teenager, then they're a young adult, and no one has ever dealt with the trauma. And then they become this full-fledged adult, and then they have this great relationship. And then all of a sudden, this person, one day, one night, one evening, touches you a certain way that maybe never touched you like that before. But that one touch triggers you because it reminds you and it takes you all the way back to that point and reference of what happened to you in that moment you were violated. So touch, and again, if you don't address the things that you've gone through, these things will pop up in a relationship. So challenges with physical touch is a big one. What about low or high sex drive? Here's a huge one. This is big. This is big. Trauma can be dysregulated desire. Listen to me. Leading to either avoidance, like avoidance, or using sex as a way to feel in control or wanted. People use it all the time. Play games with your emotions. And sometimes it's not intentional. But if you've been in some traumatic experiences, most times people don't even know that this behavior is a result of what they've gone through because they've lived with it so long, it has become a part of them. And it's only until they hit a wall or get with a person who won't accept the behavior that they realize that something is wrong. What about emotional numbness and disassociation? Oh my, this is huge. During intimate moments, a person might just check out emotionally. They just check out on you. They check out emotionally. They just check out. Be like, what in the? They just check out right in the middle of whatever. They out. And this is why, as a result of all the things I'm telling you about. What about perfection or people pleasing? People pleasing has messed so many people up, and they don't know why and how they became a people pleaser. Again, many times your root system to this behavior happened to you a long time ago, or happened to you in a relationship. There's a point of reference somewhere, but you will never find that point of reference if you keep running from it. The only way this can help you is for you to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And say, no, something has to give. This is my third relationship, and the same thing is happening. And right, and then you become a finger pointer. It's not me, it's you. Now, I always say that thumb is pointing right back at you. When you point, when you're a finger pointer, you know, you need to go like this. That finger pointer needs to be pointed to you, my God. So this perfectionism or people, let me tell you, walking through life is not easy. We become an adult. We walk through so many things that challenges us. We have layers and layers of life that is on us, layers and layers and layers of life that is on us. So many situations, circumstances, people, places, things. Many times you have secrets that no one knows, and it could be chipping away at you because you may feel too embarrassed to speak about it, or you don't have someone you can trust to talk about it. Life continuously happens over and over. Every day we wake up, life is happening in real time. Different things knock on your door that you wasn't expecting to carry. You get a package each day that's not even worthy of you carrying it, and you just pick it up and carry it. No, you have to rescind it. Send it back to the sender when someone's coming to offer you something that doesn't qualify who you are and what you've walked through. What you have walked through. We have walked through some situations. They're not happy situations. They're traumatic situations. They're traumatizing situations. They're hurt situations. We've gone through so much, and we have to be kind to ourselves. You got to look at yourself and say, self, I apologize. Self, I'm going to get us together. Self, I'm sorry. I'm not going to run anymore. Self, it was painful, but I got to deal with it. I got to face it. I got to walk through it, because there's victory on the other side of whatever you've gone through that have chipped away at your life. My God, we have to be better to ourselves. And that helps us have these relationships that we're seeking, the relationships that we're sorting and running after, that when we do find, I always say, the thing that I'm looking for is looking for me. But in the meantime, in the meantime is when you start to work on yourself, line by line, just work on yourself. And everything will then line up. Everything will line up. And then we arrive at the most chilling aspect of weaponizing of vulnerability. In healthy relationships, vulnerability is a gift. It's a gift when I expose my emotions to you. It's a gift that I can lay with you and be me. When my nakedness doesn't depend on my blouse or my shirt or my beautiful dress. The nakedness that you see is my naked emotions, me with no clothing on. That is vulnerability. That is me trusting you with the total me. And unfortunately, many of us maybe at one time was like that. But because of what we've walked through, we have backed up with it, and we just tuck it away and say, I don't need that anymore. That can't peep out again. But that's not God's best for us. That is not his best. That is not his best for us. And so we got to do the hard thing. Walk it out in shoe leather, because we know when nothing changes, nothing changes. So something has to shift. There has to be some minute change or some type of change in order to even see a glimpse of change. So I want you to know that when you arrive at this most chilling aspect of weaponizing of vulnerability, healthy relationships and vulnerability is a gift. It's sharing your deepest fears. It's sharing your hopes and your past pains. Trust in your partner will what? Will hold them with care. Trust in the person you expose yourself with will realize the sensitivity of the matter, will realize, wow, she trusted me like this, or he trusted me. That's a privilege for someone to be able to expose the innermost heart and feeling and emotions and traumas with you, and you take care of that person. You hold that as a gift. But sometimes people use it to weaponize you. They'll learn everything about you, and one little thing could happen, and it becomes a weapon, the very thing you shared with this person, which causes you to shut down again. But in the darker side of what we're talking about compatibility here, we're talking about the darker side this week, particularly with manipulative or abusive partners. See, so we have to recognize this and realize that we can't keep going around in this circle. That very vulnerability comes from ammunition. They might use your past trauma against you. That's a big one. Has it happened to you? You're just being emotional because of your past. Have you heard that? Another one, bring up your insecurities during an argument. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Bring up your insecurities during arguments. No wonder no one stays with you. Woo, what a statement. You're always Da da da. Fill in the blank. No wonder. How about this one? They exploit your deepest fears, threatening to abandon you or revealing your secrets, knowing how much it hurts. People can be mean and they play dirty. They play dirty. But when you're built with character, when you're a woman and a man of integrity, you understand that when someone shares their deepest moments with you, that it's a privilege. And even if you don't stay with that individual, even if you wind up splitting, the respect that you once had for each other will carry you out of the relationship, and you'll have dignity and respect that person you once laid with. But there are so many people that play dirty and they weaponize. I'm almost done. Oh, how about gaslight you about your feelings? Dismissing your trauma responses as crazy. You're just crazy. You're just so crazy. You're crazy. Get out of here. You're crazy. Have you been through that? Sound familiar? This is one of the most insidious, listen to me, forms of relationship abuse. You hear me? Because it twists the very essence of intimacy, into a tool for control and harm. It's a betrayal of the highest order. My God, it's a betrayal of the highest order. Lord, help us. Leaving the victim feeling exposed, shamed, and unable to trust their own reality. Are you able to trust your own reality, or has someone tampered with that? Have you given up that much of yourself that you allow them to put in you and to cause you not to trust your own reality, let alone your partner? Let me get finished with this real quick. I'm going to go through the pros and cons of trauma bonding. When we discuss trauma bonding, it's crucial to understand it's not a healthy pro. There is no healthy pro and con list in the traditional sense. Did you hear me? There is no healthy pro and con in the traditional sense of pro and cons. Okay, like choosing a car, I'll get this one, not that one. No, this is not like this. This is deceptive perceived benefits that trap an individual, while the cons are devastating and real. Listen, real quick. The perceived pros, it's called the deceptive trap. You hear me? It's the deceptive trap. Intense emotional highs after periods of devaluing or abuse. Any gesture of kindness and attention or love feels incredibly intense and powerful. Listen what this does. It creates a chemical rush, like a dopamine rush, that is highly addictive, making the person believe this is real love. This is so deep in how God wired us and how one part of us connects to the other. And the brain sends a signal to the heart, and the heart sends a signal. Listen, what about false sense of purpose? Oh, it's connection. The shared drama or cycle of intensity can create a distorted sense of deep connection or being the only one who understands each other. Oh, wow. This is particularly potent for those who've felt isolated or misunderstood in their past. Many people feel misunderstood in their past. Hope for change. The victim often clings to the belief that the good person will permanently emerge. He's going to change. Oh, he's going to change. I know he said he was going to change. He's knocked me upside my head and then said, baby, I'm sorry. You made me do it. I'm going to change. You know I love you. How long we been together? You're going to throw this relationship away? I'm going to change. Yeah, he's going to change. She's going to change. The shared drama. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. This is potent for those who felt isolated. And the hope for change, it clings. You cling to the belief that the person is going to change, which gives them a false sense of control or importance. Oh my. The familiarity. Listen, the individuals with a history of relational trauma chaotic family dynamics. Who came from a family that was always something going in the house, the fighting, the screaming, the no food, the this, the that. Who came from a household where it was like all hell would break loose and stuff was going on and you were young and you were witnessing this? Who came from that? What did you walk through? What did you walk through? The push and pull of trauma bonding can feel ironically normal. It's normal. I'm familiar with that. I'm familiar with the hell. I'm familiar with it. You're familiar with it. You're familiar. Compared to the unknown of healthy dynamics, it's ironically normal or familiar, even comforting in its predictability, because you're just comfortable. It's just a cycle. Now, let me get to these cons. When I told you pros and cons really don't exist, but I figure I'll just drop this on you for a moment. The devastating cons, the reality, the erosion. You ever seen a pipe or steel and it erodes? It's just nasty. Is the rust and this is what we're talking about, the erosion of self-worth. Your erosion of your self-worth and your identity. The victim's sense of self-esteem and personal boundaries are systematically destroyed. I said they are systematically destroyed. They often lose touch with who they are outside of the relationship. My God, have I seen so many people go through this. So many people stay in something so toxic that person was toxic and they was toxic and they called it toxic love. There is no toxic love. It erodes who you are on the inside. The cycle of abuse is a con. The relationship is stuck in a repetitive cycle of idealization, devaluing, abuse, and then a return to a parent. Oh, no, we're calm. Open up. The police, open the door. Open. Hi, officer. How are you? I heard that there's someone called and said something's going. They heard screaming and shouting. No, not in here. Not in this. No, you must be mistaken. And they both standing there. The abuser and her, either or. No, we're good. We're good. My Lord, the cycle of abuse, devaluing, then a return to a parent calm and what? Love bombing. Love bombing. It comes right back up. It comes right back. Love bombing, right there to soothe you. Right there to soothe you and to love you, to love bombing. Which is never truly broken without intervention. These are things that people really need to sit with people to understand. You need single counseling first, and then you need couple counseling. You always go to counseling first with yourself. Don't ever just book a counseling session for you and your partner and you'll both go into the first session together. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Each one have their single session, then you have a together session. You don't want to walk in right off the back with, no, you don't. I'm telling you, you don't. Intervention is needed in certain people's lives, and people just won't humble themselves to talk to someone. It's just a conversation. Some people need one session. Some people need two. Some people need short term, 10 weeks, 8 weeks. Some people need long time, but people don't even know where they fit in that. They just keep going through the cycle. I could do it. I ain't broke. Everything's good. We're good in here. Psychological damage. This includes severe anxiety, depression, PTSD symptoms, disassociation, cognitive resonance, and profound inability to trust their own perception or judgment. Gaslighting. Isolation, we went through that. Abusers often isolate their victims from friends and family, cutting off all vital support systems and make it harder to recognize the abuse or leave. Oh, I've seen this many a times. This is when it's really, really bad and broken, where a person is totally pulled away and secluded from a support system, secluded from family and friends that love them and have always fellowshipped with them and did things together. This person has full control at this point of the road, but the other person is so broken down in their security, so broken down in their self-worth that it's become normal. It's a part of their life. He's going to change. She's going to change. Physical and emotional harm. This can range from emotional and verbal abuse to physical violence. Difficulty leaving. Despite the pain, the intense emotional highs, the gaslighting, and the fear of the unknown may make leaving a trauma bonded relationship incredibly, did you hear me? Incredibly difficult and often dangerous. The bond is pathological and deeply entrenched. Mm, mm. So, my sisters, my brothers, my friends, it's vital to understand the pros and cons of trauma bondings are illusion. It's illusions, powerful enough to keep someone trapped in a devastating cycle, True compatibility and soul sync, which is where we are today at the soul sync time here at the Counseling Corner, can never exist where these dynamics are present. Your freedom, your help, your healing can never exist if you don't say, self, I'm sorry. I'm going to take better care of you. Self, I'm going to take better care of you. We are always quick to help other people and to run to somebody's rescue, but you don't even run to your own rescue for you. Say, self, I apologize. I pray that this soul sync at the Counseling Corner today, where we sync souls together in relationships and in families and whatever situation that you're in, we want to sync your soul in a healthy way. And so we deal with the hard topics. We go inside of places and spaces and talk about things that people have been living with for years, and it has become a part of them. Someone has to make a change within the system of where you live, because when nothing changes, nothing changes. And you have to keep it moving. Listen, I love you so much, and I thank you so much for your time. I pray that you hit that like button. I pray that you subscribe to the channel. Listen, it's all about being healthy. Don't lose seconds of your time now. Life is short. Don't just give up your moments, your minutes, your hours, your time to something that, what's the word I want to think about? It breaks you down. It breaks you down. Stop being broken down and rise up and be that great person that you are. Underneath all of that debris, you're great. You can do it. You're able to do it. And so I want to end now. I want to thank everyone that is here in the bleachers. And maybe you bought an expensive ticket. Maybe you bought a box seat. I don't know. But maybe you just like to sit by yourself and you're up in the balcony. You're still here. Those of you that are not in the chat, just hit that thumbs up for us. And I'm going to say hello to my guests, my people over here in the Soul Sync crew over here. Let's see who's here in the house. All right. Let's see who's here. Let me put some music on as we go out of here. What do I have playing here? I don't even know. Let's see. Okay, we can play this. We can play a little bit of this. Let's look at these comments. All right, is that all right? Is that all right? All right, let me take it to the top here. All right. You see my sister here. Let me get a little closer to you. Let me get just a little bit closer. Just a little bit, just a little bit. All right. We good. We good. Oh, let me go right here. I love you, Nate. Thank you. Oh, am I? Thank you so much. It's a quick get together. It's a quick do. Thank you, Nate. Lady Dawn B is in the house. Oh my God, you got to go to Dawn B. You got to see Thursday night with Dawn B right here in these Bravo streets. Thursday night, 7 p.m. Hey, niece. Thanks for being here. That's a good one. Avoidance. Yeah. I know about avoidance, niece. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm glad you all are here. They're communicating because we have class manners over here. We have class manners. I'm going to put this going out of the show right here so that everyone that comes to see this later will know that it's trigger warning for some. All right. Let me get back to the comments real quick. So they're greeting each other. Hello, Trina. Hi, Trina. How are you? Thank you so much. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And Nay is greeting Trina. She's saying good evening. Oh, wow. Awesome. And Trina, is this a comment? This is a Nay. Wow. That was good. I don't know what part, but thank you so much because God is good, right? He tells us what to say and when to say it and how to say it. Shoe leather. You got to walk it out in shoe leather. You know, your mama can't help you. Your father can't help you. Sometimes it's a situation where you got to walk it out in shoe leather on your own to get to the other side. Because when what? Nothing changes. Nothing changes. Amen. Listen, I know. Thank you, Trina. Bless you. Take better care of you. We have to. All right. This is awesome. Great stuff. I'm happy. I prayed that it would touch the heart of those that would listen. And so I want to thank all of you for being here. My name is Sheila Ingram. And remember, when nothing changes, nothing changes. So you got to bust a move. You got to keep it moving. All right. I'll see you again soon. Let's see what we got going on. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to be on Sheila Ingram Ministry channel, Sheila Ingram Ministry Network. Those of you can go on over across the street to the Sheila Ingram Ministry Network and tap in with us as we share from the word, as we encourage each other, and we drink from the well of God. We drink from the well. We get encouraged over there. Come on over there. Just pay attention. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel and ring that bell and put the parentheses. You got to hit that so that you get notifications all the time. And so tomorrow's Wednesday and Thursday night, come back over here, Bravo with Sheila Network, and see Dawn B. Thursday night with Dawn B at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. All right. It's so much going on. So thank you so very much for being here. I'll see you again soon. God bless you. I'm happy. We got through it. If you're in need of counseling, I see it's nowyoutalking.com. Nowyoutalking.com, right? We have therapists there. I'm there as a counselor. Just go ahead to the website and see what we're doing and who is in the house. And if you need prayer or something, you can go to Sheila Ingram Ministries at gmail.com. I'll lift up your name in prayer. Listen, we're all in this together. We're fighting through, but we're going to get to the other side. And so I'll talk to you again and again and again. All right. Let's take this out. Let's take it out. All right. See you guys later. See you later.